Hi there, my name is Vince Karlabidis, and in this video, which is actually the second video of my video series focused entirely on AP Statistics 6.2, which is titled as Confidence Interval for Population Proportion, I will teach you how you can estimate the true confidence interval of the population proportion. Remember, let's quickly remember the key concept, which was what we saw on the first video. We said that we have one population and we want to have a confidence interval of its proportion per specific characteristic. On video 1, I use the example of those wearing glasses. Now, since this population has a significantly huge number of individuals, and it will be, we will have to spend a lot of time and a lot of money to go and check one by one of these individuals. We know that what it takes is just one sample of that. I will show you how from the sample we can get a sample proportion, let's call it p hat, and with this sample proportion we can estimate the confidence interval. So the confidence interval, assuming that we got a sample of size n, the confidence interval for the true population proportion would be given by p hat minus e up to p hat plus e. I told you that the p hat is the sample proportion. What is the e to that formula? E is called margin of error. On one of my next videos, actually, I will give you a detailed definition of that. For now, let's just call it margin of error. And for now, let's just say that this margin of error would be given by this z star, which is called z critical value, times the root of p hat times 1 minus p hat over n. This root expression will be referred to in one of the next videos as standard error. For now, I just want you to see how the formula looks like, and don't forget that this formula is given in the booklet that you will have with you during exams. So, if I now apply all these, the confidence interval will look like that. It's going to be p hat, the sample proportion, minus z critical times root of p hat times 1 minus p hat over n, which is the sample size, up to p hat plus z critical times root of p hat times 1 minus p hat over n. And this is the interval. Let's see, what do we know? Obviously, the sample size, it's something we know. Size of sample. Obviously, we will be able to know the sample proportion, which means the proportion of all the individuals within the sample that have that specific characteristic we're talking about. So, what is it left? We need to see how we can actually calculate this z critical score. With regards to that, you have to know that it might be directly given in the context of the exercise, so we might be explicitly told that the z critical that we need to follow would be 1 point whatever, or we might have to do it by hand. Right now, I'm going to show you how this is done. The z critical, remember that z critical value relies on the confidence level. The confidence level is always provided. We will explicitly be told in the given info of the question, of the exercise, that we have to follow a 95 confidence level, a 90 confidence level, 97 confidence level, and so on. For here, let's just make it 95. Then, on our next step, we should find the corresponding alpha value. Alpha value, alpha is just a Greek letter, would be equal to 1 minus that confidence level. So, for us, assuming that the confidence level is 95%, which means 0.95, the alpha level is 1 minus 0.95, which is 0.05. Confidence level of 95%, this means that we need a central area that will measure 95%. So we need all this yellow one, to be equal to 0.95. This has to be equal to 0.95. A, the alpha, which is 0.05, if we want to see it in a visualized way, is the combination of these two leftovers, these two together. Since we have a symmetrical distribution, each one of them, let me call them 1 and 2, let's call them area 1 and area 2, both of them are equal, and they should be equal to half the alpha value. So here it would have been 0.025. What I'm going to do now is that I will go to the z-scores and estimate the entire area from the minus infinity up to this. So I'm going to calculate all this. This would have been equal to, either I can refer to it as 1 minus 0.025, or I could simply address it as 0.95 plus 0.025. In the first expression, I subtracted all the right part, I subtracted A2. In the next, so here I did 1 minus the A2 region, or here I added A1 to the yellow. Anyway, works. Bottom line is that I wanted to calculate this blue region, which is 0.975. Now, the Z critical will basically be the Z-score that produces this probability. So, let me bring the maps here. I will go to the provided tables of Z-scores, and I need to search the Z-score that gives us a probability of 0.975. This is the official statistics booklet. Since the area is way greater than 0.5, I should be searching on the last two. We need 0.975, so we need to search all these values to get where the 0.975 is. 0.975. Let me check really carefully. There it is. 0.975. So this can be found in the line of 1.9 on the column of 0.06, which means that the z-score that produces this specific probability is 1.96. And that is exactly the critical value whenever we had a confidence level of 0.95. Let's go back and continue with our theory. Let's recall how we did it. Starting from the confidence interval, we found the two green ones. How? By taking out that confidence level from 1. We found that these two combined, which have to be equal since due to symmetry, are 0.05. Then I wanted to estimate each one of them. So, due to symmetry again, we would divide by 2. 0.05 divided by 2, it's 0.025. Then I need to find everything that starts from the very, very left end up to that second green area. I can do that either by subtracting from the entire area the right part, or from adding to my yellow area, which is the confidence level, one of these green ones. Remember, any way works. Then I should be searching for the table of z-scores to find which of the z-scores there produces this specific probability. It's always the same. Whenever you are using a 95 confidence interval, the z critical score will always be equal to 1.96. This is how, although it's not suggested, we're doing math anyways, we need to know the process. You can, if you want, you can memorize the z critical values. If you want to be quicker, instead, it's not given directly in the exercise. So if you go on, and I would like you to do that as practice, if you have a confidence level of 90%, the corresponding z critical value would be 1.645. If you have a confidence level of 95%, the z critical score, will be 1.96. I showed that before. If we have a confidence level of 98%, the corresponding z critical value will be 2.326, and so on. Finally, let's seal this video with an example of how we can actually create a confidence interval. Let's assume that we had a sample of 400 voters. And we found that 240 of them, so 240 out of 400, let me use the calculator, 240 out of 400, which is equal to 0.6. So this is the sample proportion. 60% of them support a new policy. That is the characteristic we care about. We need to construct a 95% confidence level. Remember that when the confidence level is 95, we found that the z critical is 1.96. So all we have to do now is, first of all, let's calculate the margin of error, which is the z critical value times the population, the sample proportion, times 1 minus the sample proportion over n. So it's 1.96 times root of 0.6 times 0.4 over 400. If I do that, I will get, I'm using my calculator, I'm using Casio FX CG40 to do my operations. and I just found that it's 0.04800999896. So in two decimals, in three decimals, it would be approximately equal to 0.048, which means that the confidence interval is P hat minus C up to P hat plus C. So in this case, that would translate to 0.6 minus 0.048 up to 0.6 plus 0.048, which is from 0.552 up to 0.648. With a quick interpretation, we can interpret it that there is a 95% confidence level that the true proportion of all voters who support this policy will be between these two numbers, 0.552 and 0.648. I can convert them into percentages. So we are 95% confident that the true population proportion of all those who support this new policy will be between 55.2% and 64.8%. I urge you to watch this video again and again. Remember that the key formulas in order to find the confidence interval will be provided to you. You need to know how to calculate the Z-critical score. That's important. I don't want you to memorize things. Just learn the process. It's easy. And then it's just operations. And don't forget that you need to know how to interpret it properly. But on the exact next video, I'm going to show you the pluses, the pros and the cons of interpreting this confidence interval. So stay with me because we have more things to say on 6.2. If you like this video, if I helped you a bit, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can always find all theory notes in the description below. And as always, thank you for watching.